You checked your phone again before bed, not because you expected a reply, but because some part of you still hoped the past might rewrite itself. The screen stayed dark. The apology never came. The explanation you deserved remained unspoken. And now, as you lie here in the silence, the old scenes replay with uncomfortable clarity, the moment you realized something had changed, the conversation that never happened, the decision you made or failed to make, the words you wish you had said or never said at all. Your mind circles the same territory, searching for a conclusion that will never arrive, a resolution that depends on someone else's willingness to offer it. The Stoics understood this particular suffering. They knew that waiting for the past to make sense, for another person to grant you peace, is a form of bondage. Tonight is not about forcing yourself to forget or pretending the hurt was small. It is about recognizing that your healing does not require permission from the one who hurt you. Seneca would remind us that we often cling to the past not because it was good, but because we invested so much hope in it. We hold on to what was said, what was promised, what we believed would unfold, and when reality diverges, we feel robbed. The mind resists. It returns again and again to the same scenes, rewinding, analyzing, searching for the moment when things could have gone differently. But this repetition is not clarity. It is a kind of self-imposed exile, a refusal to accept what has already occurred. The Stoic path does not ask you to approve of what happened or to absolve anyone of their actions. It asks you to see clearly, the event is finished, the other person has moved or stayed as they chose, and your peace cannot depend on their acknowledgement. Letting go begins when you stop waiting for the past to apologize. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some are not. The actions of others, their choices, their silences, their refusals to see your side, all of this lies beyond your reach. You cannot compel honesty from someone who will not offer it. You cannot extract closure from a person who has already closed the door. What remains in your control is how you meet this absence. You can continue to rehearse the injury, to imagine the conversation that might have healed it, to spend your nights in the exhausting work of hoping for a different past. Or you can begin, quietly and without drama, to release your grip. This is not about deciding the past does not matter. It is about deciding that your future matters more. Marcus Aurelius would point toward the discipline of attention. Where you place your mind shapes the texture of your days. If you direct your attention toward what was lost, what was owed, what should have been, you live in a world of absences. If you direct it toward what you can still build, still choose, still become, you live in a world of possibility. This shift is not immediate. The mind has grooves, patterns worn deep by repetition. It will return to the old scenes without your permission. But each time it does, you have a choice. You can follow the thought down the familiar spiral, or you can notice it, acknowledge it without judgment, and gently redirect. This is the practice. Not perfection, not transcendence, but the patient work of steering your attention back toward what serves your well-being. There is a particular kind of regret that comes with letting go without closure. You wonder if you should have tried harder, spoken more clearly, waited longer, been more forgiving or more firm. You review your own actions and find them lacking. The Stoics would not dismiss this self-examination. They valued it. But they would distinguish between reflection that leads to growth and rumination that leads to paralysis. Reflection asks, what can I learn, what would I do differently, how can I become wiser? Rumination asks, why did I fail, why was I not enough, how can I undo what is done? One looks forward, the other backward. One builds, the other erodes. If you have reflected, if you have learned what the experience can teach, then the work of regret is finished. What remains is the choice to carry that lesson forward or to remain locked in the courtroom of your own mind, delivering verdicts against yourself that no one else will hear. The absence of an apology feels like an open wound. You believe that if the other person acknowledged the harm, named it, took responsibility, then you could move on. And perhaps that would help. But the Stoic insight is that your healing cannot be held hostage by another's willingness to speak. If your peace requires their words, then you are not free. You are waiting, and waiting is a kind of suffering. The path forward lies in granting yourself what they will not give. Not by pretending the harm was small, but by deciding that your dignity does not depend on their recognition of it. You know what happened. You know what it cost you. That knowledge is enough. You do not need their validation to begin again. Seneca's lesson points toward the idea that time does not heal unless we allow it to. Simply enduring the passage of days while replaying the same thoughts is not healing. It is waiting. Healing requires a decision, a turning of the will. It requires that you stop feeding the wound with attention, stop reopening it with questions that have no answers. This does not mean you forget. Memory remains, and that is as it should be. But memory can exist without bitterness. You can remember what happened and still choose not to let it define the shape of your life. The past is a fact. What you make of it, how you carry it, whether you let it instruct you or imprison you, that is your work. There is also the question of forgiveness, though not the kind that requires reconciliation or trust. The Stoics understood forgiveness as a release, a refusal to let another person's actions continue to disturb your inner order. This does not mean you excuse what was done or welcome the person back into your life. It means you stop allowing their choices to occupy the center of your thoughts. You let them be who they are, flawed and human, and you let yourself be free of the need to change them or to wait for them to change themselves. This kind of forgiveness is not a gift to them. It is a gift to yourself. It is the decision to reclaim the energy you have been spending on resentment and redirect it toward your own becoming. Marcus would remind us that each day is a small life. You wake, you choose, you act, you rest. The past is not erased, but it is not today. Today you have new choices. You can speak kindly to yourself. You can notice one small beauty. You can take one step toward something that matters. The weight of the past will try to follow you, and some days it will succeed. But on other days, if you practice, you will find moments when it falls away, when you are simply here, breathing, alive, unburdened. Those moments are not accidents. They are the result of your patient work, your refusal to let the past consume the present. Letting go is not a single act but a series of small releasings. You let go of the need for the other person to understand. You let go of the fantasy that things might still be repaired. You let go of the belief that you could have controlled what was never yours to control. You let go of the anger, or you hold it a little more lightly. You let go of the story that you were uniquely wronged, or uniquely foolish, or uniquely unworthy. You see the situation more clearly. Two imperfect people, limited understanding, choices made in confusion or fear or selfishness, consequences that neither of you fully intended. This clarity does not erase the pain, but it softens it. It makes room for something else to grow. Epictetus would say that the obstacle is not what happened, but your insistence that it should not have happened. Reality is what it is. The past unfolded as it did. No amount of wishing will change it. But you can change your relationship to it. You can stop arguing with what is finished. You can stop demanding that the world should have been otherwise. This acceptance is not passive. It is the foundation of your freedom. When you stop fighting the past, you have energy for the present. When you stop waiting for closure, you can create your own. As you settle into sleep tonight, let the weight of the past rest where it is. You do not need to solve it. You do not need to understand it fully. You do not need anyone's permission to move forward. You have carried this long enough. The Stoics knew that rest is not merely the absence of effort but the presence of order. Tonight, your order is this: you acknowledge what was, you release what you cannot change, and you trust that the morning will offer you another chance to choose well. The past does not own you. It is behind you, and you are here, breathing, healing, free.